Hey guys, it's Josh with JTech, and today I'm going to show you how to diagnose a crank no start. Alright, we're gonna diagnose the crank no start on this it's like a 2003 Honda Civic natural gas vehicle. Basically a crank no start is when your vehicle cranks and doesn't start. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're missing something, pretty much. You're either missing air. There's four main things you're going to be missing when your car doesn't want to run and just cranks. It's going to be fuel, air, spark, or compression. So from there, you can kind of pick and choose where you want to go. But first, you got to learn how to do some directional testing and pinpoint testing, and I'll explain what those are. All right, so basically, we got directional testing. Probably the most efficient way to figure out what's wrong with the car. So let's say crank no start, like we got here. One of the first things we're going to want to do is see if there's any trouble codes. We'll verify the concern first, obviously, but we know it's not cranking. So what we'd probably do is come over here, get in the car, pretend I got a scan tool. Ugh. Down there is the DLC connector, data link connector. You plug it up in there, see if there's any codes. And based upon those codes, you can take a step in a direction. That's why it's called directional testing. If it's, say it's misfire code or something like that, weird in there. You would check ignition system related symptoms, like spark plugs, coil pack, coils, anything in the ignition system that could have that problem. You're pretty much just taking a step in that direction based on the codes that you're getting from the scan tool. Fuel pump, you could start by doing a relay or by checking the pressure at the fuel rail or something like that. But yeah, like I said, it just takes you in a certain direction, and it's a very thorough way of diagnosing a vehicle. And on another test you can do, or type of test, is a pinpoint test, and that's basically just going straight to what you think is wrong. If it is, say, if we think it's a fuel pump, we turn the key and we don't hear the fuel pump running, that's a form of pinpoint testing. If you want to swap relays because you might think the relay is bad on it, that could be another type of pinpoint test. It's just going straight to that system and trying to diagnose it because it's what you believe is wrong. Alright, we're going to get into types of diagnostic techniques on different systems of the vehicle. Alright, so I'm going to get into 5 diag techniques we can do to try and diagnose the crank no start. One of the first ones, which I think is one of the most effective, is your live data test or active testing, whatever you want to do. You can use the scan tool inside the vehicle to try and manually activate the fuel pump if you don't think it's working. But you can also read live data or freeze frame data to see if the vehicle's getting spark, or if it's getting, if it has fuel pressure or anything like that. You can check that. Well, speaking of fuel pressure, we can actually do a fuel pressure test at the fuel rail by hooking up a gauge. When you crank it, see what your readings are, compare them to specs. If they're below spec, then you can go, try and trickle down the fuel pump path, see if there's a problem down there. Another one, fuel related, we can do is the injector tick, where you pretty much just take like a mechanic's stethoscope, stick it down in here, where the injectors are, and listen for the tick. It's very easy to do, and it'll let you know if the injectors are working, because if they aren't, then you're not going to have a car that runs. Another one you can do is check for spark right here at the coil packs. Pretty much just take one of these coils out, you unplug this one first, take it out, plug it back in, and then take like a, let's see, I use a what are they called? Test light. You can use a test light to arc the spark onto it, see if it's arcing there. See if you can do that with all coils, make sure they're getting spark. And another test we can do is a compression test where you pretty much you can either, I think you can do a cranking compression test or a cylinder leak down test, and pretty much check compression, because if you have bad compression, that could be a reason why that the vehicle doesn't want to start. But with those 5 different diag techniques, you know, those are just few of what you can use to diagnose a crank no start. Okay, so we're going to talk about the result outcomes of a crank no start. So like I said before, air, compression, spark, and fuel, those are the 4 main reasons why your vehicle wouldn't start. You know, say we do a directional testing, and along the way we find that there's low fuel pressure or no fuel pressure. One of the outcomes could be, for low fuel pressure, that you have a clogged fuel filter. So basically, if nothing's getting through the filter to the injectors, when you're reading the pressure there, then it's going to be low. If there's a spark issue, say you're getting no spark, could be a like the PCM or a control module, could even be, you know, a fuse or a relay or something like that. But that's the great thing about directional testing, is you start somewhere, you take a step somewhere, and it opens up an area of different components and different tests you can do to verify the problem. So whether you do a directional or pinpoint test, you'll get somewhere. But yeah, thanks for watching my video. That's pretty much how you diagnose a crank no start. See you next time.